All right, so let's take a look at number 5. You're not talking right now? So page 154, number 5. So all of you are looking at 5 to make sure you understand the work that we're doing. All right, so number 5 said, I have negative 0.3 times y is equal to 7.53. Is this the one you're talking about? Alex, you're paying attention to what I'm doing. If you don't have your homework with you for whatever reason, or if you didn't finish the homework, or you didn't get this right, you're all writing this down if you need to. All right, so this says negative 0.3 times y. How do I undo, Grace, that multiplication? This multiplication right here. What operation undoes multiplication? Division. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 0.3. Division is always using a division bar. I should not see this. What does that indicate? What does this indicate just by looking at it? Or what do you think it might indicate? Jacob? Sorry, Jacob Rushavitz. What is it? Yeah, this indicates subtraction. This is not division. You have to show division somehow. All right, we show division by using a fraction bar. All right, so when I do that, my negative 0.3s divide out. So I have y equals. You have to state what your variable equals, please. So off to the side, I'm going to do that division. I'm just going to drop that negative off because in the end, I'll just put a negative on my answer. All right, I need to move my decimal on my divisor one place to the right to make it a whole number. So that means that I need to move my decimal one place to the right on my dividend as well, and I'm just going to move that up to its new location. You're all making sure you have this division done properly. All right, 7 divided by 3 is 2. That's going to be 6, so 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring that 5 down. 15 divided by 3 is 5. That's exactly 15, so that's a 0. Bring that 3 down. 3 divides into itself once. That's 3. I have a 0 remainder. I'm all done. So this is a negative 25.1. I have to see you finishing the division. You're not doing part of division and then stopping. I have to see that entire thing. Grace, does that help you? I would recommend you go back through a couple more on your own time tonight and practice some more of those before you do your homework tonight. Jacob. All right, let's take a look at 10. All right, 10 says we have a factory. This one's kind of funky just because of the numbers. All right, so the factory produces 7,000, and if you notice, I'm not writing it as 7 zeros. Jacob, you're listening, please. I'm not writing this as 7000. And the reason I'm not is because that 63.5 thousand is not using the zeros either. So I'm just going to leave those as 7,000. So they produce 7,000 TVs per day. All right, and we want to know after how many days? Will they produce 63.5 thousand TVs? Jacob, sit up and pay attention to what I'm doing. All right, if you notice, is 7,000, 63.5 thousand. I'm not changing those to 7000 and 63,500. I'm not doing that. All right, I'm leaving them just as they are. So let's talk about our game plan. Well, 7,000 TVs per day, that's a rate. So I have to do my number, I have to multiply my number of TVs per day times Well, what information, remember a rate is always a part, we're always using it with multiplication. If you did not have this game plan properly, you're writing this down right now. So Alex, Alex Madney, you're writing this down. What information do I know I have to multiply that rate by? Jagger? Your number of days, because it's the denominator information. Equals, well, my whole is going to be, well, I'm counting the total number of TVs. We have 7,000 TVs per day, so our whole must be our total number of TVs, because that goes with our numerator. Joseph, you're paying attention to what I'm doing. I don't know my number of days, there's my X. All right, so I have 7,000. You don't necessarily need to write the word thousand, but I'm going to show you why. I'm going to. You don't have to, but I'm going to show you why. You can just leave it as 7x. 7,000 times x is equal to 63.5 thousand. All right, so really all you need is 7x equals 63.5. But I want to show you what happens to my thousands. So you guys can trust me that you don't need to write the thousands down. All right, so here's my game plan. Here's my equation. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 7,000. So my 7,000s cancel each other out, which leaves me with my x. What happens to my thousands here? I have 1,000 in the numerator and 1,000 in the denominator. What happens to them? Jeff? They cancel out. So I don't even need to write them on there because they both are in the thousands. All right, so off to the side, we are doing 63.5 divided by 7. All right, and I believe what we end up with is 9.07 days. I probably would have said 10 days, just because it's over 9, but they said 9 days. Yes, Jagger? Well, you did the division wrong. All right, so if I do this division, 63 divided by 7 is 9. So that's 63. 0. Bring that 5 down. That remainder does not become your decimal. Come on, Jagger, seriously. This is long division. You guys learned this in 5th grade. 7 divides into 5 0 times. So I'm going to bring that 0 down. 7 divides into 50 7 times. I get a 1. I could keep going, but I'm talking about number of days, so I really don't need to go any further down. I end up with 9.07 days, which is approximately 10 days. You do need to remember how to do long division, which is why you guys are going to have IXL homework on it. All right, put this away, get your notes out. We need to talk about division. Start talking. Just get your stuff out, please. We don't have much time left. Just get your stuff out. Today is 12/4. We are still in 3.6, so 3.6 continued. And let's talk about equations with division. So we're going to solve equations with division. Alright, so I want you guys to solve r divided by negative 0.6 is equal to 0.5. How do I undo the division? This says r divided by negative 0.6. How do I undo that division by negative 0.6? Lawrence? By what? That negative 0.6. So I'm going to multiply by exactly that same number that variable is being divided by. When I do that, my negative 0.6's divide out, and I'm simply left with R equals. Now off to the side, you are all doing 0.5 times 0.6. All of you do that, please. So 5 times 6 is 30. My decimal is right now at the very end. How many spaces do I need to move my decimal in my final answer here? Maya? Why? Because there's 2 digits behind the decimals, right? So I'm going to move this 2 spaces because I have these 2 numbers. So R is equal to 0.3, and it's going to be negative because it's a positive times a negative. All right, let's see when I would ever use this. All right, we did some story problems with multiplication. Now let's figure out when I'm going to use this. How many of you guys pay attention? Stop. How many of you guys pay attention to baseball? You guys ever heard of batter's batting average? You guys ever heard of batting average? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to talk about Babe Ruth. In 1923, he had his best batting average. It was 0.393. Batting average, it compares the number of actual hits you have with how many times that you were at bat. All right, so the formula is A is equal to H over N, where A is the batting average. Where are you guys going? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even know she left my classroom.
I apologize. She needs to talk to her friends.
Oh, okay. Annika, next time you need to leave, you have to let me know. A is batting average. H is your number of hits. N is my number of times at bat. So always pay attention to what your variables stand for in formulas. Pay attention to what I'm doing, please. All right, so his batting average was 0.393. All right, he was at bat 522 times. How many hits did he have? Somebody substitute our values in for the variables. So A is our batting average, H is our number of hits, N is our number of times at bat. Somebody substitute those in. Alex? Okay. Excellent. And then I'm going to leave H there, right? All right. Someone tell me, how do I solve this now? Morgan? Excellent. Excellent. So when I do that, you obviously have to do this long multiplication. When we get done, we end up with 205.146. We can't have a part of a hit. All right, so we would say he had about 205 hits. Joseph, pay attention to what I'm doing, please. Because you guys are going to have this in your homework, and they're not going to give you the formula, and you're going to be like, I didn't know what formula to use. Because you're not paying attention to what we're doing in our homework, our notes. All right, so this is an application. Remember, anytime you have a formula, you need to make sure you understand what the variables stand for and that you substitute the values and they give you for the right variables. You guys cool? Okay, so you have your homework tonight. It's those 2 worksheets. There are story problems on each side. Please pay attention to those story problems. You guys good? Okay, you can go.